If you're a so-called Mexican and you've gravitated to this channel, it's meant. This is what the Bible was saying about you in these times. It's Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, the 20th verse. It says, "It's not Ephraim, my dear son, the child in whom I delight." Your name is not Mexican or wetback or any of these bywords. The Lord called you Ephraim, his dear son, the child in whom he delight. Though I often speak against him, I still remember him. Though your name has been forgotten, you've been stripped of your nationality, and you've been given names and terms like Mexican and wetback, the Lord still remembers you. He remembers you. Therefore, my heart yearns for him. See, y'all worshiping Mother Mary and these idols and all this idolatry, and you forgot your God. Your God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God who created heaven and earth. I have great compassion for him, declares the Lord.
During the Depression, they blamed Mexicans as the scapegoat. They were easy to blame. They were not the reason for the Depression, but they took the blame supposedly because they were a burden to this country.
This thing is not about border safety. It's because America is in free fall, and there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. Yeah, they're going to try to repair this economy, repair America, repair the republic, repair this, but the Lord going to destroy it, man. That's the final judgment. And a lot of you so-called Negroes, y'all about to learn what he was talking about when he said black jobs. You know, y'all about to find out what he meant and why he changed the Constitution.
It is going to be a disaster for you and I, as this money is going to have to be printed, it's going to have to be borrowed, it's going to have to be taxed, raise interest rates. And you got to prepare, because you're going to pay even more than you were before for services, for goods. You're going to pay more, spend more, get less. Inflation's not going away, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we have inflation, because they keep raising the debt ceiling. They keep printing money. They keep the printing presses going. They keep kicking the can down the road, and they're doing it yet again.
Micah 2:2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage.
Over 1 million Mexican Americans were illegally deported in what is now known as the Mexican repatriation. This occurred because large parts of society, as well as then Republican President Herbert Hoover, held anti-Mexican sentiments and felt that the economy would somehow bounce back if it freed up jobs for white Americans. But little did they know that the labor they lost only made the Great Depression worse and prolonged it by 10 years.
Why do you think that Donald Trump would make it legal to discriminate for employment? Obviously, it's about to be a lack of jobs.
The reason for this was due to less essential jobs being done, since there were fewer workers to do the labor. Even worse is the fact that over 60% of deported Mexicans were legal citizens of the United States. Truly one of the darkest periods of the Great Depression that few people today know about. Some scholars even classify this event in American history as ethnic cleansing. The most shameful part of all this is that we are the original peoples of the America, but for hundreds of years we have been constantly treated like animals while foreign invaders take advantage of us. In conclusion, this is the reminder why we need to stand our ground as a unified community so as to never allow this to ever occur again.
What are the similarities and differences between these two situations?
The U.S. economy was in crisis. Unemployment was at a record high, and American sentiment turned against immigrant workers, specifically Mexicans and Mexican Americans.
So in the 1930s, you heard a lot of similar rhetoric as today.
The Mexican repatriation program was never formally codified by Congress, but was enacted by local and federal officials to forcibly repatriate people of Mexican heritage to Mexico, even if those people were U.S. citizens.
So that's the wrong term, because Mexican repatriation means that you were originally from Mexico and somehow you're going back to your country.
Resulted in a mass exodus from cities like Los Angeles and Detroit to Mexico, despite the fact that about 60% of those removed were born in the United States.
So if the same thing happens today, you know that there's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people born in this country that are going to be deported with their parents.
Along with parents. Yeah.
Along with their parents. And that, according to contemporary scholars, law scholars, that's a form of ethnic cleansing.
We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country.
In effect, what occurred was an ethnic cleansing, a removal of people of a particular background.
A second mass deportation happened in the 1950s. It was called Operation Wetback.
A wetback was an epithet used to refer to Mexicans, and it refers to the stereotypical Mexican immigrant who swims the Rio Grande and has a wet back. It's hate speech. It's